You guys feel it in the air? Do you feel the fake weirdness? The strange vibes? Are we going up or are we going down? What's going on? What's happening? Where are we going? I'm here with you guys. We're going to go over the charts. Let me post about the stream. As you guys pour in, good morning. Yo. Welcome, man. Welcome. Let me post about the stream. What's up, Coons? Good morning. Gonna be another juicer. Let me do my posts and we'll get to it. It's gonna be a good one. Oh, good morning, everybody. What's going on? Ooh, we got a juicer chat. We got a juicy chat. We got Jason Casper. We got Gazgano. We got the Coons. We got the whole... We got Bully Barry, man. Good to see you, man. We got everybody in here. Everyone that's important is in here right now. What's up, Nightshade? These are tumultuous This is a tumultuous point in the markets. There's a lot of conflicting ideas. If you guys are confused, you're confused for good reason. This is a mind... This is mind effery right here. Not only have we slipped below the CME gap anchor, implying that we do need to come down to as low as 64, back down to the push-up line. But to conflict with that, we've got like what should be acting as support, the bearish anchors that were once resistance that we've slipped above, but they're unproven support. We would have to see some strength. We'd have to see a whale splash on top of these anchors before they are actual support. So these lines are not support yet. Crypto Twitter coming out and saying we're going to the moon, taking emotional, spiritual profit before we can even make any gosh dang money. I don't hate these people. I love everybody, but I'm disappointed in them. I'm disappointed that people take profit in their mind on the screen before anyone can even feed their families. Gosh dang it. Ignoring the signs, ignoring the gap. Look at the gap. The gap. There's a threat of looming. There's people who hate Bitcoin poking needles in voodoo dolls, hoping this shit crashes down. And we can't ignore that. We can't ignore that. So I have to put this blue anchor up, guys. If we slip below and we hold below the blue anchor, it's not like gloom and doom for Bitcoin. What I'm really saying is that there's probably a really juicy long, like a really juicy long, like we could wick down to the gap if we had to. If, let's say, the blue anchor maintains resistance, let's say the intraday, which we are underneath, like continues as resistance, you guys realize there's a really juicy swing long right at this point, right down here. Maybe it's not right at this exact entry, but you get the idea. It's right at that gap, right at this gap. I'll put it on this chart so it's more clear. This is just an idea. I'm not sure if it's going to go down and fill this gap, guys. I really don't know. There's been gaps in the past that were never filled, but usually gaps get filled. So if we maintain under the intraday and we can't hold over the gap line, it would be nice if we could fill this trade. It would be really nice if we could just spike down real quick, fill that, load up, and then go up. Just an idea. I want you guys to be expecting that, because if something sharp comes down, I don't want people who FOMO'd in at the top with too high leverage, you know, like trading off what Crypto X is saying. I don't want you guys to get wrecked. So expect that there's probably people chasing value on an intraday basis, getting cheap Bitcoin, and they're willing to buy down into the gap, into the dip, if this is a dip here. So that's the worst and also the best case scenario, because like that would be hard to deal with, but then you'd also have this wick that you could buy up, and that's an amazing swing trade. So it's like, you can't think of this as bad if this gap gets filled. It's healthy. Sometimes you wake up in the morning and you got to take a poop. Poops are not bad. You can't be afraid of it. What if you were afraid to take a poop every day? Sometimes you got to take a dump so that you can get on with your day. So this is good. This is good if that fills. That's an issue, like an issue in our relationship with Bitcoin that is better off resolved sooner than later. Better out than in, if I'm sounding like Shrek. But You know, what also could happen is we could find some support at any one of these lines. We could dig in. You know, these anchors, this red anchor, for instance, has been very respected, acting as solid resistance, a really great point for the shorts to play out, and it very well could have flipped bullish for us. Jason Casper said, I was scared to poo as a kid. He held for a week. He had issues. Were you scared, bro? Or maybe you were just eating too much cheese, man. Have you ever thought about that, Jason? Have you ever thought that it's not easy being cheesy? Maybe you were blaming external factors on yourself. You didn't read Marcus Aurelius. You need to learn how to control what you have control over, which is not eating too much cheese and getting constipated, bro. So don't be afraid, man. Don't be afraid. But yeah, so I mean, it is possible. It's just unproven that this is support here. We'd actually have to see the support being built, right? What would that look like? It would look like us bouncing from just about these levels that we're at right now, and then reclaiming the intraday. So in a few hours, like later today, we're going to get the intraday VWAP resetting. That's going to give the bulls the pitch they need to take the reins back in the bulls' favor. So watch out for the daily candle close. Watch where we close, and watch the price action after that close. I'm not going to be streaming during that time. I won't be able to hold your hands, guys. And we got this creepy music played. It's creepy, man. This is a creepy point in the markets. Oh my gosh, that got loud. Damn, that was a drop. That shit dropped. Yeah, so unproven support. We have to see we have to see the bulls taking the reins over the intraday before we see strength after this little dip that we got. So yeah. How we doing in the chats? Yes, Riley, I got the treadmill set up. The treadmill is set up. I hope the music isn't too loud. Is the music too loud, or I don't even know. I'm amping up this treadmill though because I'm hyped. Also, I gotta like tighten the screws on my standing desk. I'm a little nervous. It was like a little rickety. Everything in my life is falling apart. So I got my drinks off to the side just in case, like, this is going to happen one day. I'll just be streaming and then everything collapses and my monitor shatters. The webcam like falls on the ground, and then you see what's behind me in this room and you're like, oh my gosh, FG does not have his stuff together. Because this looks clean. I have a nice felt green screen and everything, but there's a lot of stuff off to my left that I really don't want you guys to see. It's bad. It's really bad. But as for, you know, my felty wall here, I love this. I love that I can feel the charts and it's like velvety and soft. You know, this feels nice. It's like scratch and sniff. It's like the Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. This schnoz where you can, like, I scratch the wave and I smell it and it smells like schnozberries. The schnozberries taste like schnozberries. Okay, so is there anything bullish? Is there anything suggesting a bounce at these anchors? That's important, right? There's a little bit of, there's something. I mean, I do, since I have a keen eye for a straight guy. I see the momentum trending down. And if we can, you know, if we can dig in a little low here, that is a hidden bull div. Where the lows in the oscillator have trended down, but the lows in price have trended up. So that suggests that there's some upward pressure from the 65-minute chart perspective. So that, I mean, that looks decent. It's not a very strong reading, being that it's like coming from above the zero line and it's a little bit hard to see and this line hasn't even clipped up, and the money flow is trending down. But I do like how on the 65-minute chart, it seems like the RSI is like there needs to be some sort of reckoning where we could like tighten up, you know, something like that. Yeah, like we definitely see some things bubbling up on NickCipher at this point. It's just, you know, when we're on these micro time frames, Jason, being under the intraday kind of sucks. It kind of sucks. It means that, well, if we're Charles Schwab buying a little bit of Bitcoin each day, this is great. If we're just value hunting, this is some relatively cheap Bitcoin from an intraday standpoint. It's like, ooh, this is low value Bitcoin, you know? But from a scalping bias perspective, you actually want to trade with the grain for the day. And so if we're under the intraday, it may look bullish, but that would just bring us back up to the intraday, and we may have to re-short. There may be another short scalp off the intraday. That's how this works. Or you would be patient to wait for the daily reset. You let the intraday snap back down to the price action, and then if the bulls can gain some traction on that, that's the start of a bullish narrative. So right now we're hitched on this golden retracement line. But yeah, like waves under the zero line on the micro time frames are best when you're over the intraday. Does that make sense? So there's a little bit of disagreement. We're not getting that confluence that we'd want to see for a long, or for more longs from this point, simply because the intraday says that the volume for today is trending in the bear's favor. It's actually waves over the zero line that may play out more just for the time being and once we start trending over the intraday, then the BitBoy green dots and all that stuff will start playing out more reliably. As for the DBSI, let's see the DBSI. So the DBSI is flipping red. That's another kind of like negative trend bias. Granted, we are a bit sideways. You know, one thing that is kind of unsatisfactory is just how sideways a lot of these anchors are. These big anchors here, the yellow anchor, the pink anchor, all these anchors are relatively sideways, even though they are sloped up. It's like there's like slight favoring the bulls, but it's just not like how it was back here where you see it really strong trending up. So yeah, and even the DBSI's EMA, it's a little hard to see because there's a lot of stuff going on in here. I apologize, but see how we're sideways. We're not back here where the DBSI's EMA is clearly sloped up, and so it's like, okay, long scalps are going to work out like 100%. But once you go sideways, things are a little iffier. It's not really time to go for continuation, especially with the DBSI is currently red. It flips red off this doji candle, and then boom, we get this big crash wick here, and then the red candles start playing out. So yeah, like a sign, like these things are looking bullish over here, guys. Like on the 65 minute, despite the money flow tumbling down, the momentum waves are suggesting that we've got some hidden bullish divergence. We should get a bounce here from a continue. Like we were going up, we get this reading, and we should continue up to some extent. But it may just only be to the intraday, or only to the DBSI, or only to the blue gap anchor. Simply because we don't have the biases, we don't have the trend bias in our favor. We don't have a green DBSI EMA below us acting as support for continuation. We don't have the upsloping biases below us pushing us up. We've got clouds overhead. So it looks a little you know, a little mixed. It's mixed signals, but that's what's going on right now. There's some mixed signals. What's up, chat? Drab to Sob says it might roll over. You know, there's evidence to suggest that it might. Look at the CME gap chart. There's a big gap down here going all the way down to 64. And, you know, despite these anchors coming up, jerking up a little bit, it almost tells me that there like would be something sharp and quick, you know, a sharp, quick wick, tackle that issue, resolve this issue, and then we continue up. That would be sick. I would actually love to see that. So yeah, the title of this stream is like fake AI generated bull, you know, because we pump up out of these bearish sentiments, and miraculously, like when we break this red anchor and this yellow anchor, these bearish sentiments that we've been shorting from, you guys notice how the sentiment in the space shifts. All these crypto influencers go mega bullish, they go perma bullish. Yesterday I was joking about how when we break bearish anchors, it's time to become Bitcoin Jesus and walk the earth and do Bitcoin mission trips and tell your aunts and uncles to buy Bitcoin at the top at Easter dinner. So these VWAPs do a really good job, like letting you know, like, it's like we break this line, it's like, oh boy, crypto Twitter's gonna go crazy. You know? So I was anticipating the perma longers, the Bitcoiners, the people to start talking super bullish again, and they take profit from an emotional numbers on a screen standpoint. And it's like it creates the perfect environment. It's like greed. Like if you're looking to sell or take some profit on your Bitcoin from the bottom down here, like let's say you bought below before the FOMC decision, and then you see some major retracement levels and crypto Twitter talking about the moon, that's like the perfect environment to take profits. If they just be quiet, if they were just quiet and stop taking credit for what the market's doing as credit for them, then maybe we could go higher. But unfortunately, like they will run the sentiment into the ground. And who knows if we could hold this blue line. You know, like I see a little bit of strength here. It is still possible that we hold the 618, that we maintain over the blue anchor, and we just simply continue up. We haven't had that collapse yet. We haven't had the test of the old bearish sentiments. It's actually still in the cards, Jason, that we actually do continue up from here, just because I can only call it as I see it. I haven't seen any signs of us firmly losing this blue gap anchor. Actually, never mind. I'm sorry. I was looking at I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. I was looking at the futures chart. There's a delay. I'm looking at the more current chart. So we do have evidence of us slipping below the gap anchor. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. So there is evidence of us coming down. We even actually slipped below the 618. So the gap idea is actually gaining a little bit of validity here. If we come up and we hard test the blue anchor as resistance and like the DBSI as resistance and the intraday, we're getting kind of like a confluence of lines here. Look at the DBSI and the intraday and the blue anchor all like pointing at trying to pull something dastardly on the markets. Something dastardly. So maybe plan a potential swing trade down at the gap level, down at like these 64, down in the 64s, and we should consider ourselves lucky if it comes down there. If you're someone who FOMO'd in at the top, make sure you're watching. This is a possibility that can happen. You have to prepare for possibilities that can happen. If you think something might happen and you don't prepare for it, then it's on you when that thing actually happens. YouTube, this guy YouTube, his name is YouTubey on the treadmill like Jason. Dude, I have no shame. I have no shame in admitting that Jason Casper inspired me, man. That's not admitting defeat. That's just admitting the truth. Like the truth is that all you crypto traders are a bunch of sedentary pencil necks, and I don't want to be like that. Not my community. I don't want Andrew Tate to make fun of me on Twitter. I don't want to feel limp when Andrew Tate starts going off on crypto bros being weak. Not me. I've been working out every day for a year and a half. I'm getting jacked. Not my community. Maybe one day Andrew Tate will take me under his wing, but he'd probably roast my ass too. He'd probably be like, "Where's your Bugatti?" You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no pencil necks. No pencil necks here. Why? Where? I don't see any pencil necks. T-Pie says, great TA and strategies. Thank you so much, man. The VWAPs are definitely like their own trading system. I form ideas. Actually, what I do is like the eagle. I soar overhead, and these lines affect my overall bias. Are we in a forest? Are we in a desert? Are we in what environment are we in? I scope out the biome below like an American eagle on the weekly and daily time frames. I also use NickCipher B. We're in a massive macro uptrend with plus 60 momentum, which is like runaway train status. Just like how in the last bull run, we don't hit an iceberg event until we lose momentum. And so I'm not counting on a substantial iceberg event until we lose the 60 line. That's the environment that we're in this market. I go to the daily. I see a massive momentum desert to the downside, which makes me think that these little waves below zero are the ripest opportunities to bet on the market. And so even though the daily's cooled off, we may get multiple blobs. I am a little worried that this next wave might not go over the 60. Just even if we went higher, if we can't go above the 60 again, that would spell some daily chart like bad news for Bitcoin. So I'm watching the daily, but overall it's a good bullish picture here. I do like what I see. So the anchors help me with that, but the anchors also help me with the trade planning, since they are a volume weighted. They're volume based, but they're based on price. Instead of those little volume bars at the bottom that like are volume in regards to time, I hate those. I hate reading those. I like volume indications such as these anchors, or such as the volume profile. See the volume profile? The VWAPs and the volume profile are similar because they measure volume in regards to price. The difference between the VWAPs and the volume profile is the volume profile doesn't give you the actual key levels, bobbing and weaving in the price to actually plan and execute trades and actually place orders around. So these anchors help me to time key points in the market to swing long or swing short, and they also help me paint a narrative and tell a story about whatever market I'm looking at. I don't even do that much research on the fundamentals of coins. You guys tell me a coin to look at, and I'm able to tell you so much about it just from using these anchors on the chart. So yeah, they help me with the trade planning aspect, but then they also help with the execution. Whether it's a swing or a scalp trade, you approach every trade the same way. You go big, medium, small. And so on these micro time frames, the anchors are still helping me with actual points to enter. But I will say that, at this point, the anchors become, since they are the same level on all time frames, like see how this orange anchor is 67.9 on the 6 minute. If I go to the 6 hour, it's still 67.9. This is not an EMA. This is not a simple moving average. It doesn't change on the time frame. This is static. It's unmoving. This is a key level that's not going anywhere. But on these micro time frames, sometimes you don't get an entry off the big anchors. Sometimes you need the intraday VWAP from NickCipher SR or the DBSI or some other little tool to actually get you into a trade. But the point is, the overall point I'm trying to make is the anchor tools, are the anchors and the VWAPs. This VWAP system, it is a full comprehensive system. It helps you with the environment, it helps you with the planning, and it helps you with the execution. And it's just a drawing tool. It's just here on the left. It doesn't even count as an indicator. So as someone who has limited indicators, if you don't have like TradingView Pro, this is for you, because it's just a drawing tool. I really just teach NickCipher and crayons. That's what I teach. AK says he's hitting 200 push-ups on the daily. Let's keep it going, man. 200. You want Bitcoin to go to 200K, bro? That's crazy, man. 200 days, nuts. I did 200 one day when I was in Miami. And you know, when you tell yourself, I'm gonna do 200 today, you actually bang them out. It's crazy. Like, you just do 25, 25, 25. You do 25 8 times. Like, you get out of bed, do 25. Take a crap, do 25. Make a coffee, do 25. Go to the bank, do 25. Withdraw 10 grand, do 25. Go to the strip club, do 25, you know? I'm just kidding. But yeah, you like do it throughout the day and you'd be surprised at how many you can actually do. Spank says a liquidity sweep if the high with that wick is broke, structured, goes bearish. Definitely need price and a discount. Yes, dude. You have the right head on your shoulders, Spanky. If we can get spanked and go down and fill that gap, that's a problem that's resolved. This is not bad. That's not bad. It's better to do that now so we can actually go up to a new all-time high than to go up there and then be like, oh, never mind, let's fill that gap, you know? We don't want to live on credit. We want to pay off our debts, pay off our dues. We want to pay our dues before we continue. Lemon GF says, gap me up. Yes, dude, we're ready to get gaped. We're lubed up like my treadmill. Welcome, we welcome the gaping. Can't wait to get gaped. Golden Eye says, staying healthy and wealthy. That's the idea, healthy and wealthy. If we have a downtrend and you don't come out of that downtrend stronger and more confident and smarter, well, then you're defined. Remember that phrase, like strong times, or what the hell is that freaking phrase? Hard men make soft babies, or hard times make strong men. What's the phrase? Hard times make strong men. Strong men make good times. Good times make weak men. Weak men make bad times. What's wrong with me right now, dude? Literally all I know is NickCipher. I don't know anything else. I know NickCipher and the anchored VWAP tool. Get this book, guys. It's the anchored VWAP, Maximum Trading Gains with Anchored VWAP by Brian Shannon. Best $60 you'll ever spend. Best $60 you'll ever spend on your trading career. Curtis Neal says the gappening. Let's see, is the gappening happening? There's some evidence to suggest that. We got the DBSI on the 65-minute turning red. The intraday is overhead. The blue anchor is dead. These are points of dread. We're listening to the Silent Hill music. This is creepy. This is creepy. I'm creeped out. but I had to come on here and stream with you guys. I can't, whether I'm scared or brave or whatever, if I'm crying, even if I'm crying, I'm gonna pop on here and you guys are gonna have to see me cry one day. There's gonna be a day. But through the good times and the bad times, we'll be here together, man. Not that that makes you feel any better. Indiana Candle says, do you do private lessons, FG? I do, man, I do. If you get a $500 private lesson one-on-one for 2 hours with me, you also get into my VIP. So you get some like lifetime value. You get extra VWAP videos, the chats, my TA ideas, and a 2-hour call. Just check out my description below. You just shoot me a little email. We schedule a meeting on Calendly. I use Calendly, and we'll do it all. It's like a comprehensive. I just sell one thing. It's a $500 2-hour call plus VIP access for life. Keeping it simple around here. Keeping it simple. AK, man, you're strong, man. Doing 50 each time, man. That's crazy. 50 push-ups in a go. I'm doing about like 35 push-ups in one go. You know, when I started like a year and a half ago, I was only able to do like 10, not even, man. Like when you start doing push-ups, you're very, very weak. But the progress you make is insane. I only started this challenge 44 days ago, and I've like increased my push-ups by like 15 or something. And I also look very different. I was like a solid 6. Now I'm like a 6.5. Hard times make hard. You know, hard times don't even make strong men. Hard times simply just illuminate who was strong all along and who was weak. Hard times eliminate the weak and illuminate the strong. And who is strong is not always who you expect, and who is weak is not always who you expect. You could have a physically strong man who's an emotional child, and when times get tough, like he bails out on you. And then you could have a total skinny dweeb who could be a hero. That's why I like Sean O'Malley, dude. He's a good fighter. He's like a skinny guy. He's a bantamweight world champion. But would I ever want to fight that guy? I got like 60 pounds on him, and I would never ever want to fight that dude. Yeah, hard times just illuminate who was strong all along. That's like in here, dude. It's not even like about physicality. Yes, tough times never last. Tough people do. Willem says, perfect music for the sentiment. I agree, man. These are strange times. Strange times. To have escaped the gulag. You realize, like, if we were in Soviet Russia and you just escaped the gulag, isn't that terrifying? Because like you don't know if you're being hunted. You don't know if they're sending the dogs after you, bro. You don't know if like you're thinking about the people that you left behind. All the shit coins like Bake and ETH and all the people that you loved in the gulag who are like still in their gulag. And now you're free, and it's like a part of your mind is like, I'm still in the gulag. You know? Maybe I belong in the gulag. This is when things get serious. We need to actually confirm the gulag as support. We need to see a whale splash not only coming out, but we need to see the support, the structure built on these lines. This is actually a godsend that we're getting this potential start to a big swing trade. You know, this is like the first entry, is the idea that we would balance off these old sentiments. If you were less risk averse, you would wait for us to regain traction over the intraday. You would let this bounce out and see that white line here, the VWAP, the traditional VWAP. You would look to see just any amount of candle strength building on that once the daily candle resets today. And that would be your key, your indication that we've built enough structure on these old bearish anchors that are now bullish. You could catch along there. That would be the first, the long idea. Then you've got all these other long ideas. You've got the FOMC Jerome Powell decision, a bounce off there. You know what sucks about this line is we did not get a clean bounce off that line. Jerome Powell kind of playing games with us. We do tend to come below this line. So it's not as reliable as a lot of other anchors have been in the past. But it is a line where you could form an idea for a swing long at. But the ultimate swing long idea is the idea that this gap must be filled. The debt must be paid. Blood must be spilled. A sacrifice must be made. Bars, dude. I've been rhyming a lot today without even thinking about it. Vestige says, it's like the Navy SEALs, they say most guys that make it through buds are small guys, lanky guys, not the big giga chads. There's something to be said about, look at me, I'm like, this treadmill is like outpacing me. I'm like, yeah, man, there's something to be said about a skinny dude who's mad at the world. Dude, if you back any man into a corner, you don't doubt that mofo. You don't doubt any man who's backed into a corner. Worst mistake you could do is bet against a guy. Especially someone who you think is a weak guy. You know, a guy who's been through enough shit where he knows he's destined for something great, but maybe he's just failed himself in the last couple of years. That happens to all of us people. Like, if you stop working out for a couple years as an adult, if you make a few mistakes or get stuck in a bad string of habits, like you deteriorate a lot. Like, it's easy to fall off the mountain, and you could fall off a mountain and it takes a couple seconds to fall. Like, you building momentum and success and health, like, it takes a lot of work, and then you could lose it quickly. So you never count anyone out, you know? Especially people that you care, the people that you claim to care about. It's actually your job to inspire them, motivate them, remind them who they're supposed to be. Don't just sit there disappointed in the people that you claim to love. Like, affirm them who they're supposed to be. Remind them of their destiny, and be kind. Unless it's a young man, then sometimes that tough love. My personal trainer, Larry, at the end of 2022, he gave me the tough love, bro. It was like prison with Larry. He was telling me to do all these moves, and he's like, point your pecker to the ceiling. He's like telling me I got a pecker, you know, and like yelling at me like I'm in prison. And I loved it, man. I was like smiling and laughing the whole time. So I don't know, as some people like the tough love, like the Andrew Tate yelling at him, calling him a loser, you know, it just depends where you're at in your life, you know. Romgo says, do you have any more recommended books? Actually, yeah. If you're in like a personal growth phase of your life, like you perhaps like hit a rock bottom a few years ago and you're like, nah, screw that shit, and you've been climbing ever since, and you're also into investing, and it's like you are on the road to success in your mind, just skim through The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. Like, when I was in Miami, I was just like skimming through it and reading it like super quick. I was reading like one page every like 15 seconds or 10 seconds or something. And like every every page has like cool stuff in it that you'll just kind of program into your mind. And it's probably all stuff that you've affirmed for yourself already. But it's good to read like this story of like this guy who had wild success, and then his health deteriorated, and he faced a spiritual battle in his life. Everything fell apart. He was at like zero. Even though he had success financially, he was at zero. This can happen to you in your life. This is a market lesson. But what did he do? He went to India, and he trained with like spiritual leaders and all these people who were in tune with the earth. And like, he learned how to go for pilgrimages in nature and take his shoes off and like be one with nature. And like, it's just all these little lessons he learned from the monks. He became a monk. And he came back and dominated life all over again. So yeah, it's a really cool story. Good one to read. If anyone in the chat has any good books that they recommend, let me know. Let the rest of the chat know. Read the Bible. I read the Bible in high school because I went to like a Jesuit school. So like I had scripture classes junior, senior year, and I read a lot of the Bible. And I also had friends growing up who went to church, so I would go to church with them. Oh, Outliers is a really good book, Jason. I actually have that book on my bookshelf. And, you know, it's been a while since I read it, but it pretty much is just talking about how like the best and worst things happen at the fringes, you know, like, and it's a really good lesson on like risk, like in trading. It's a very specific person who succeeds and goes all the way with trading. Art of War is a good one. Ooh, dude, the best lesson from Art of War is like, when they think you're near, you're actually far. And when you're far, when they think you're far, you're actually near. That's a good one. What's up, Alex? One example of Art of War in my strategy is I told you guys that I was going to quadruple the price of my consultations if we either go to 100K or if NickCipher gets a 6-pack. But what are you going to do in a month from now when I have 30 more live streams stacked up and I just draw a 6-pack on my stomach and I quadruple the price of my VIP? Just things like that. That's like Art of War shit. Not that I would do that to you guys, but I do think about it because yeah, I've read part of that book. Alex O Crypto, good to see you, man. Go ahead and everybody go follow Alex O Crypto. He's a really good dude. He trades based off his grandpa No. Is it your grandpa, Alex, or is it your dad? I don't even know. But No knows. This is better than like the moon indicator is what is No saying. Yeah, man, God bless you, man. I know you're a man for others and you're like doing this for your family and all that stuff. I love that you're not hubristic and flashy, and I love your tweets, man. Always positive. Alex just gets it, man. And also his VIP is high quality, and he does videos and streams. Crazy, dude. Absolutely crazy. Just a total workhorse. Just working for everything he's got. So we appreciate you, man. I wish we got some more exciting developments on the price chart, but this is, you know, like I said this before at the beginning. Oh, is it not Alex doesn't have a VIP, it's just free? That's crazy, man. That's crazy, man. Because what you provide is worth a lot, man. That's sick value. Definitely 100% go subscribe to him then. If he's giving it for free, man. You know, just because something is cheap or free doesn't mean it's not valuable. This is a mistake that people, not just you guys, but people in general, we all make this mistake. If something is low price or if something is free, then there must be something wrong with it. But was there something wrong with Bitcoin when Bitcoin was at $15,000? No. Was there something wrong with my VWAP strategy when it was $90 for 3 months? No. Is there something wrong with AlexoCrypto because he does what he does for free? Or is he literally just a man for others who like wants to help people? Like it behooves us to see the value in things at the right times. Think about it in like the dating world. You know, you only get attention once you get a 6-pack, or you have, you know, whatever, 20K followers on Instagram or something. No one wants to just find someone deserving and believe in them. And no one wants to create the world that they want. They want to take it from someone else. It's sick. It's sick. But as someone who's friends with successful people, and I've had successful people believe in me at a low, like successful people are really good at figuring out who deserves to be supported, who deserves to really be clapped for when they actually need to be supported, when they actually need to be clapped for. Because when AlexoCrypto gets 100K subs, well, guess what? He doesn't need applause anymore, really. The dude's made it. Just by him having you on his channel is like a blessing. So yeah, man. I'm invested in AlexoCrypto. I like him, man. There's other people too. There's many crypto investor influencers that are underrated. Dang. So this daily candle that we got yesterday, a doji off the 786, little bit concerning. We can see why we're getting this red candle now. And when we go on the 65-minute, we slipped under the intraday VWAP. And then also we lost the DBSI, which I have. It's a 5-day move. It's a 5-day EMA that I have set on the DBSI. So what I did is I changed the long-term trend to 30. And I'm on the 65-minute chart. So that makes this line a 5-day EMA, which it has turned red on us. And we got this big rejection wick. And we fell below the anchor. The blue anchor is the gap anchor. This is the measurement of the idea that we need to run away from the gap and never fill it. But what we've seen from the recent price action is that there's evidence that we may need to fill that gap. You see how we lost that sentiment? There was an idea in the air that we're not going there, that we're going to all-time highs. That's what crypto Twitter said. That's what people were saying. But now we're seeing the opposite. Now we're seeing price action under that sentiment. We're seeing price action under the intraday. We're seeing the DBSI turn red. And we've fallen below the 618, the golden retrace. That's why we're listening to creepy Silent Hill music. This shit's creepy, dude. It's creepy when all these people say it's only going up, baby, and then it just doesn't. And if anything, there's strong signs that we need to come crashing down. This is creepy. We haven't built the structure over these anchors that we want to see yet. If this does this, and then the intraday VWAP, we have structure over structure, then it looks better. But there was this tight window. There was a tight window where it keeps going up, and we keep going up, and keep going up. But that didn't happen. We saw weakness. It's the divs are the waves are coming down. The money flow is coming down. We lost the 88 level on the RSIs. The price came down. Now we're showing signs of weakness. And I'm not afraid to come on here live and we're going to talk about it, man. We're going to talk about how everyone was wrong. and how everything's screwed up. This is fun, man. I love this shit. Lemon GF says all the F influencers promise me all-time highs. Yeah, I know, man. That's their job, because no one has deeper, bigger bags than these influencers who've been in these markets for multiple bull cycles and haven't taken profit. These guys are morally and legally obligated to pump their bags. And also on top of that, they really do believe deep down that they are elected officials in this crypto world. They believe they're the Joe Bidens and the Hillary Clintons, and that they're not going anywhere, and that they can do whatever they want, and there isn't gonna be, and that there's nothing that you're gonna do about it. You're not gonna tar and feather them in the streets like they used to do in the olden days. In the good old days, if a politician or a leader said something wrong and screwed over a bunch of people, you know what they did? They coated them in tar and threw feathers on them. They ripped open a bunch of pillows and they turned them into a chicken. They turned them into one of Jason Casper's chickens. And they clowned on them. That's so funny, dude. They didn't kill him. It's like, we're not going to kill you. We're just going to make you into a chicken. And we just want to see you flopping and groping in the streets with feathers on you. That's so funny, dude. That's actually the perfect, you know, like these people, the crypto people, like they don't deserve to get drawn and quartered, you know? They just deserve to be kind of shamed a little bit publicly, you know? I think that was like perfect, man. Can't we just go back to those days? If we don't, then we go back to the ancient Roman gladiator days. We don't want to go that far. We don't want to go back to medieval times. I don't want to go back to those dark times. It would be nice if we could just get some proper street justice, you know? That's why Twitter is so cool, because it is a platform for free speech and you can say what you want. If someone with a big enough voice, like Andrew Tate's actually been making fun of the crypto space, which I actually kind of like. Like, you know, Tate, he's very like negative manifestation. Like, I've been learning how to be more positive regardless, and like always be positive. I'm trying. I've been working on it. But then like I'll catch a Tate clip and I can't help but laugh because he's like shameless negative manifestation. But sometimes you need some tarring and feathering. What's up, Pepe? What's good, man? What's good, Pepe? Big fan of the coin. Do you guys have any alts you want me to look at? Type some alts in the chat as I fix myself from being fat as I wear a hat. FloppingGroper with hat. FET. Holy smokes, dude. FET. What? Wait a second. Let's check the bubbles. Let's check the bubbles real quick. These are your winners today. You know, I've been very surprised with Bitcoin Cash's performance this year. It caught me off guard. I don't know why I forgot about Bitcoin Cash. I don't know why, but it's been doing really good. I guess Litecoin had a pump. These Litecoin coiners, these shite coiners, they had a little day in the sun. All right, let's look at some alts. We're gonna look at the FET. Let's get a fresh perspective here. Put one at the start of the year. We'll put one at the all-time low, or not the all-time, but the yearly low. We'll put one at the high. We'll put one at that correction right there. And right there. Okay. So this little anchor caught a nice little dip down there. That was sick. This one from this correction was acting as a steady guide. When we zoom into the smaller time frames, FET did a really good job breaking out of the gulag. It actually had a few false attempts, which we don't like to see the gulag being abused like that. We like to see clean interactions around bearish sentiments that cleanly flip bullish. So little bit, you know, the fact that there's all these failed attempts makes you think that this one could fail as well. But it is a higher high. We did create a higher high. We are correcting a bit, man. So if you're bullish on FET, I would put a little anchor on this. And I would not bet on further continuation on FET until we can overcome this little red line. So you go on the micro time frames and see this. You're in the gulag again. You're in the gulag again until you overcome this line here. But FET's done a lot of good stuff. We could even, just to kind of measure this little micro pump we've had, we could put an anchor down here. Ooh, look at that. We're coming right down on it. Probably a long, dude, there's probably a long scalp from here up to the top of the gulag. Perhaps we could put one here. It looks like if you put an anchor here, it was kind of like an up only kind of sentiment. Like the volume was very bullish from this point forward. So this anchor gets dragged up a lot. And so now it's just simply acting as further gulag resistance for this larger, the people who were smart enough to wait for some structure to be built on the old gulag. These people down here are now holding the markets up. But if this fails, if they fail, bro, you're going back in the gulag, bro. The dogs are coming for you, man. The dogs are running through the forest, and you're in the forest. You're tripping on branches, bro, with your FET, man. The dogs are coming. The flashlights and the dogs are coming for you, bro. If you lose this line, just saying. Okay, so that's FET. We told a good story with the VWAPs. I love this shit. Wait, are we spelling veracity right? What's the ticker for veracity, guys? I'm sorry. I'm stupid. What's the ticker for veracity? Okay, VRA. Okay. Okay, so we put one on the first of the year. We put one on. I guess we'll put one on this low here. But we could also put one on these little dojis here too. That's a tough call to say. A little subjective, but we'll put one on the low. We'll put one on this market structure here. We'll put one on this massive correction, and then we'll put one on the top. And what we see here is a short scalp from top of gulag to bottom of gulag, testing the overall up sentiment of the year for veracity. So veracity is about to be tested in a big way. Is this going to be a good year for veracity or a bad one? That beanie was getting hot. Now I look like Vlad Dracula. So yeah, man, maybe some structure could be built here off of the up only sentiment. If that does not hold, then you would look for the year to date to hold you up there, and potentially a sizable swing long back up to the top of the gulag, either at this level or at the year to date sentiment. Okay, we're gonna look at Floki. Floki we've looked at in the past. Unfortunately, it's still in the gulag. We've had some attempts to break out. I do see some hidden bull div. Like NickCipher B is saying that like the bearish momentum is decreasing substantially, and yet the price is holding quite well. the price is holding these like flat levels. So there's a little bit of idea for like for this anchor below us here to hold. And also it's converging with this anchor down here. If you place this anchor down here, we're right at that level. But I would really, really, really want these levels to hold, because we already slipped below this anchor. Let me put one on the year to date. Okay. This is like macro support. So there's a long way down. Long way down if these sentiments up here don't hold, man. Looking for a bounce here, but I would definitely guard yourself. Definitely guard yourself on that. Being that this is a hype coin with like zero use case, and it's all about pumping and dumping, you just simply don't want to be stuck holding the bag, man. So if you don't get a bounce at these levels, like, kiss the gulag goodbye, man. You're going to the chambers, bro. Let's look at Algo. Let's look at Algorand. Algorand had some severe drawdown at the start of the year, but it's actually held the year to date more than like most coins. Has been a steady long point for Algorand at multiple points, which is interesting to see, because most of the coins year to dates they kind of just ran from. Looking at the 4 hour, it looks like the money flow is coming up and we are going into the green. We really want one of these sentiments to hold though for Algorand, or else it could be a false break out of the gulag. It's kind of a little mix. Like, it didn't get much pop out of the gulag, not getting the clean structure that we'd like to see. But perhaps you might be able to get a bounce here, and it would kind of have to hold these levels. Otherwise, you'd fall back down to the sentiment from the March 20 bottom at around 0.25. Yeah, it's almost like a half. It's like half in, 1 foot out of the door on Algorand. The money flow looks good. Is there a technical bounce in the cards here? Money flow is a little thin, but it doesn't look bad. It actually looks like nice and oversold. If the RSIs can come over 12 and the money flow can cross back into green, you might get saved on that. But these are some levels that you could place where your idea would be wrong, you know? You could put your stop loss like right below this level, 0.2689, if you're thinking of like a bounce here. Yeah, the 30-minute money flow slumping down, kind of just crossing red. We did get a little red over here, but it just scooped right back up. I would say that you want to see some structure built on this gulag sentiment before you start swinging long on this. We're under the intraday, so let some traction above the intraday actually play out before you start going crazy on that. Okay, we're gonna look at Manta under the intraday. You gotta wait for that daily reset, and you gotta see traction above before you start thinking long. Otherwise, you're thinking short. ever since this chart began. The volume weighted standpoint's been all over the place, just acting as a steady guide. Not very reliable for actual trade ideas. A very tight gulag, very tight range that this coin needs to get out of here. So I'd probably count on this ranging around in here until we can gain some traction over the intraday on this, and maybe try to make a second play at escaping the gulag. Pepe says, how come you've no love for MCA? I do like MCA. MCA is great trend bias. When the EMAs are blue, green dots play out better. Long trades tend to play out better. I like it more on the big time frames. Like I'll use it as like part of my environmental. Basically, I use it on like the scoping of what biome are we in, but I don't use it much on the trade planning, like, or the execution. Like I'm not placing orders at these EMAs, and I'm not even forming trade ideas based off them, but they are really good environmental readings. I like to know if NickCipher A is in a healthy uptrend on the macro, or if it's like sideways like this shitcoin here, or if we're in a clear, dying, gray EMA kind of environment. So it's definitely environmental, overall market analysis type stuff, big time frame type stuff. Like these green dots tend to play out better on big time frames, as do the blood diamonds. But I do use EMAs, like I use the DBSI line. Like on Bitcoin, I have a DBSI line here. See? See? Although I like to set this to 30 and look at the 65-minute chart. That gives me a 5-day EMA on the DBSI. So it clings to the price action a little better, and I can clearly see when the bulls are in charge, when it's red, and when the bulls and bears are in charge. Yes, Pepe, I don't use NickCipher A for every trade you do, whether it's a swing or a scalp, Pepe. You start on the big time frames and you get the environmental read, and then you go on the medium time frames and you plan the trade, and then you go onto the small time frames and you execute the trade, right? It's 1, 2, 3. Would you agree, Pepe? So NickCipher A helps you with step 1. DBSI helps me with step 1 and 2. Sometimes 3, sometimes the execution. Whereas the anchor tool, the VWAP anchors that I teach, help me with all 3. The VWAPs are my number 1 tool for not only environmental, like on the daily when they're sloped up, I'm bullish. If the DBSI is sloped up, I'm bullish. And then I go on the medium time frame and I make an idea. Are we going to bounce off this anchor, or are we going to reject? I called a short in one of my live streams before. I called this dump right here. So the anchors help me form actual trade ideas. But then they also help me on the execution. Like I go on the small time frame and I actually place, you place the actual short order at that line, or perhaps when we fall below the intraday, the white VWAP. This is the VWAP that resets each day. So these are the lines that I would actually be placing orders at. But there's value in all the tools of NickCipher. It's just like if you have all these tools and most of them do the same or something similar, you want to keep it simple and do what works best. Pepe, you also talk about the Heiken Ishis. I think the Heiken Ishis are amazing for step 1 and 2. They're really great environmental because it's kind of a trade-off of precision. You lack the precise data of the standard candles. You lack the candle formations and those candle patterns that you learn, like shooting stars and all those things from standard candles, but you get a really good idea of the overall trend. So Heiken Ishis are amazing environmental candles, and they can also help you with trade planning too, but they do kind of hamper the execution process because you're sacrificing that exact candle data that you would actually be like placing orders at. So while they can assist you in step 1 and 2, step 1 they actually can be a drawback. That's why you hear people like with mixed opinions about Heiken Ishi, but that's probably because they're just not utilizing them properly. Heiken Ishi is really great on big time frame analysis. Willem says, look at the 3 hour that just printed. Okay, let's look at the 3 hour. You're definitely seeing RSIs losing steam. We have to cool off. These waves are really cooling off. The DBSI has just turned red, and we're still under the gap anchor and the intraday VWAP on Bitcoin. So there's some bounce potential here, but I wouldn't be thinking about adding more swing long, honestly, until we see some more structure here, or we resolve the issue with the gap, this futures gap. It would be really nice if this filled out, and that would be an amazing, very low, like very cheap, high value swing long trade if we can fill that sooner than later. That's where I'm at with Bitcoin. We simply don't have the intraday and the DBSI. We don't have the sorts of biases we need to enter confident longs right now. Oh, Sean Nolan, let me look at ETH real quick, man. So ETH, in my last stream, we called. I was talking about a short off the gulag. And to be honest, to see the DBSI flipping red on the 3 hour and the 65 minute, we might be getting sent to the chambers on ETH here. There might be some sort of bigger double bottom, or I don't know, maybe this level holds. There's definitely some bullish divergence, like suggesting there could be. We could hold here. You see the price holding even. Despite the waves tumbling down, the price has held. So there is some solid support here at this level. Let's see if there's some deeper support at let's put one at the first of the year. We do have some deeper support on ETH. Not much structure in this middle area though to place an anchor off of. It's like even these anchors that I placed are a little bit iffy because there wasn't much solid structure on ETH on the way up. But these are some levels that if we did lose the current levels, you'd want to look at 32, 3240, 3K. 3K is the year to date. That's the idea that ETH is going to have a good year this year. That's at 3K. And then the up only sentiment, the idea that we're only going up, baby, on ETH. There is no corrections. It's just straight to the moon. That was already tested, and it looked like we came out of that. So we would look for this sentiment to hold. This anchor right here at 3240-ish. So it would be nice if we could just hold this anchor and stay in the gulag and not get transported to freaking Auschwitz. We want to bounce here and stay up in these high ranges, maintain this healthy bullish market structure. The game changes if we slip below this orange line. Currently sitting at these current levels at 34.75. And you can't say I didn't warn you, because in the recent streams, you know, we said that we're still in this gulag level and like there's probably a short here. You actually got a second opportunity to short the gulag. ETH tried to make a break for it. ETH was like about to get gas, and it was like, no, I don't want this, man. And It's like, oh, this isn't gonna happen to me, man. And it made a break for it. And they tackled him. The guards tackled him. The dog started like gnawing at ETH's ankle, and they dragged him by his hands and feet. They dragged Vitalik Buterin back into the gulag. All right, I'll do one last coin, QQQ. Only because I don't want to hear any QQ, less QQ, more pew pew. Which one should I look at? What's the actual chart that I should look at here? From Wits Exchange. Okay, let me delete the... Okay. We're gonna look at this from a macro standpoint. We're gonna put one on the first of the year, and we're just running from it. These traditional markets are so bullish. It's hard to even, there's so little structure on the way up, but you know, because the DBSI on this daily is green, AK, innocent until proven guilty. Innocent until proven guilty. But that being said, look at the signs. Look at the signs. Look at the waves coming down. Look at the price going up. This is scary, man. And the sentiment on traditional markets is that it's only going to go up, baby. They're just lying to you. Look at the treasury bonds, though. Look at the treasury bonds. When it comes to these traditional markets, look what's in the cards. Last time we had an inverted yield curve, uninvert, and come back over zero was 2000, right before the 2008 market crash. Last time it happened before that was the 2000 market crash. I don't even need to pull up the NASDAQ or the S&P 500 for you guys who've been here long enough to know what happens when the yield curve uninverts. So you're looking at a major sell in May, walk away type of situation in the trad markets and potentially with crypto in the cards here. This is what I'm looking at. This is major, bro. This is really major. And what's scary is that when Bitcoin came out after this shit, Bitcoin is a part of the everything bubble. What happens to crypto? The real use case of crypto could perhaps be redefined. The values of all these cryptos could be way too high. That's a scary thought. So Bitcoin being a drop of truth in a sea of lies, Bitcoin almost isn't even a crypto anymore. Bitcoin is Bitcoin, you know? And so what do I think? I think the trad markets at some point this year get obliterated back to the Stone Age. And I think that whoever beats Joe Biden is going to have to deal with and be blamed for perhaps the worst economic depression since 2008 or the year 2000. That's what's happened. That's what's coming for us. But Bitcoin, ultimately, I believe that it will be okay in the long run. It's just that I imagine a scenario where, you know, it's like this is against what a lot of people are talking about in the crypto space, but I have to think about this stuff for my own sake. Like, we have this linear support here. Remember during the COVID Black Swan, we came below here, and this was a liquidity grab. Major wealth distribution fuckery. So what happens if, you know, the everything bubble happens and all the markets tank, and Bitcoin overall is just a big cup and handle going up? But what if there's some wick action and we do this, you know? That would actually, like, look how natural that looks. Look how normal that looks. That's actually like healthy market structure. that would play into something bigger than crypto. This is the world markets. Something crazy happening this year. But ultimately, I believe that it would lead to like a cup and handle on Bitcoin. Just something to consider. But until then, life is not fair. They're going to run it up. It's a party above deck. And we simply cannot lose faith in Bitcoin until we lose the weekly momentum. That's why I'm doing push-ups every day until Bitcoin hits 100K, because if we're going into hard times, I need to become stronger. I need to become a better man. I'm not going to be the same FloppingGroper I was in this bear market, where I crawled out of this bear market weak and enfeebled like Schmeagol from Lord of the Rings. That's never going to happen again. And I'm not going to let that happen to my community either. So yeah, man. That's why we had creepy music today, bro. These markets are hella creepy, man. All these people promising you everything. What was that Napoleon quote? Look what Napoleon said. He said, if you wish to be successful, promise everything, deliver nothing. That's what our U.S. politicians say. Our U.S. politicians are Napoleonic, and crypto Twitter is Napoleonic. So just be careful, guys. Be careful in these markets. NickCipher's different. We aren't crypto Twitter. We gauge things as they are. We don't count our chickens before they freaking hatch, you know? I'm happy to tell you guys about this silly, messed up gap situation. And we measure the gap sentiment. We measure the blue anchor. If we slip below this shit, things get scary. I'm not afraid to tell you that. My fate isn't hinged on the fate of Bitcoin. My reputation doesn't go down if Bitcoin goes down. You know? I'm always going to be FG. I'm always going to be here. But yeah, that's it for me today, guys. I got a call in a half hour. And the music stopped. The creepy music stopped. It's creepier now that the music stopped. Now it's just me with my treadmill. But yeah, tune in tomorrow, guys. I'll be streaming again. And much love, and we'll be following the markets. Hopefully things look a little better for us. Or we've got a nice, good entry down at the gap. That'd be sick. So this week's going to be an exciting week. This is a crazy week for the markets. So much love. I got a phone call too, but peace out, guys.